Good morning and good evening to everybody. I'm Andrea Menghini from GeoMax Support and Training Team, and today we will talk about our Office software, XPAD Office Fusion with Module 1. I will show you some basic functionality from the software, also some hidden functionality related to the main interfaces of the software. So just to have a quickly overview about the concept behind XPAD Office Fusion. XPAD Office Fusion is the PC Office solution which allows you to elaborate and transform all the geospatial data. It is possible to import TPS data, GNSS data, laser scanner data, digital levels data, also to process photogrammetry field project. It's a unique solution in the market because in the same software, in the same interfaces, we can overlap data coming from different hardware and different software. So we can really manage everything inside the same software and inside the same interfaces. It is also based on XPAD DNA, so from who already know our field software. Also the Office software, so the XPAD Office Fusion is user-friendly with a modern interface and is adapted to different markets. As we already told you, is it possible to import GNSS data, TPS data, level data, laser scanner data, also data coming from the Zoom 3D and EFC data, so the BIM project, BIM 3D model. But it is also possible to import data coming from from third-party software or third-party formats. Just to give an example, we can import drawing format as DXF and DWG. We can import also field software, field formats coming from different hardware and different brand. We can import the OBJ files, so the three formats which allows you to also to manage these three formats directly in the CAD and the topo module. Laser scanner data directly from the Reka BLK and from Fearless Scanner. Topographic data formats, again EFC format, and also point clouds. So we can also import directly point clouds elaborated also with the third-party software. Regarding the topic of our webinar, so of today's webinar, we will talk about how to import the data, how to manage the project, so how to set the unit precision cartographic system, also how to manage the header set that we can use for the report, but also for the print. Data visualization, again here we can directly check topography point, measurement table. We have also some different visualization like the second viewport. The info functionality from the home menu. Photo manager, so how we can directly import external photos also taken directly during the survey with our smartphone, with our other camera, and how we can assign it to the current project. Of course, we will see together how we can calculate the GNSS and TPS survey. Then we can visualize the data overlapped also to the different view, like for example the web map. From the web map, how to create the raster and surface. How to use also the drawing functionality. And just to close with all the basket, how we can create the reports for our elaboration. Then we will have a quick overview also about the tutorials, the interactive video tutorials created that are available from our website. So during this presentation, we will see how to import data from different hardware, like for example, using different formats, but also using XPAD survey for field formats, so how we can import directly data from our field software. How we can import topographic data using a different format, like for example ASCII, the DWG.dxf file, land.xml, or different survey formats. Okay, now I just want to move directly to our Office software. So this is the first page of our XPath Office Fusion software. From this menu, we can open new project and select to directly import some data. We can directly click on empty project to create an empty project, or we can use a predefined template. So in that case, we can set all the information from the XPath Office Fusion. We can set all the cartographic system, all the unit position, and then we can save all the settings as a template. And then once we need to open a new project, we can directly open a new project using the template already saved. So in that case, I just want to use empty project to open from the beginning. So like the first time you open the software, and then from the empty project, we will see together how we can manage all the data. So this is the first interfaces of the software. We are in the Home menu, and from that menu, we can use the different sub-menu to transfer directly the data, to import the file, or to check some information. Transfer data allows you to import the data, to transfer the data directly from laser scanner, directly from TPS using cable connection or Bluetooth connection, directly from the digital level. So in that case, we can customize the transfer and then, for example, create a new profile for GeoMax ZDL 700 or from Leica Sprinter 150-250. Again, what we can do from scanner transfer is to transfer directly the data from the Zoom 300 laser scanner, so our laser scanner, or directly from the Leica BLK. What we will do now is to import directly the XPath survey, an XPath survey project, and check together all the different functionality that we can check, then we can control and how to manage the data. So just to give you also some other information about the import file, from scanner data, we can import scanner data using different data sources. BIM module to import the EFC file, the 3D project. Survey data, from survey data, what we can do is to select before the brand, and then from the brand select the different data format that we can directly import. So in that case, we can import also the raw data format using different brand. Again, land.xml, DWG.dxf file, ASCII file. So also here we can customize the import and save as default, and we can import topography point, measurement, GPS and TPS measurement, reference point, survey code, and also create the standard import formats. What we will do now is to use XPath survey and import directly a file, okay, a field format, a format from our field software, sorry. So we will see now the preview about the data that we already imported. 102 topography points, 0 reference point, 104 measurements. So probably we need to recalculate this project in order to have all the topography points, and 0 surfaces. So in that case, from the graphic view, we can visualize the different data. So the green point are point measured with the GPS. The blue point are point measured with the TPS. Of course, we have different visualization option here. Zoom view, zoom extension zoom view with a Windows selection, zoom extension, and 3D visualization. So in that case, we can orbit around the project. So again, from the home menu, what we can use is to use, for example, settings project in order to check all the different options, all the different settings that we can use for this current project. So, for example, drawing scale, but we have the same option also here. So we have the double way to use the project settings directly from home menu project and select the different page, or directly here using directly clicking on scale, meters, or gone to open the same page that we will see together now. So from the drawing, we can of course select the drawing scale, unit precision to check and to change the distance, to check the angles, latitude and longitude, slope value, and of course also the precision. Coordinates, in order to select east, north, and z, or change by north, east, and z. Cartographic system, we have the same option also from survey and again survey page, we will see together then. Ground to grid scale, in order also to recalculate with much more accuracy the TPS survey. And then at the end, we can also use the headers from the company or the headers for the current project. We have also another possibility, the possibility to select also another headers for the current survey. So it means that we can create the report, but also the plotting using the company headers, project headers, but also using an header for the survey. Of course, what we can do here is to paste and copy images or directly enter manually a text, or we can load directly like we will do. A small icon. Of course, we can also scale it in order to change also the scale, or we can directly paste and copy some other information. So in that case, we can click on OK to save these parameters. And just to have a quick overview, we can double check all the information here. So double clicking here. We can change the scale. Double click on meters. We can directly open the same project settings menu. And again, gone to change unit position. So from this menu, we can directly open the project settings menu. Otherwise, home project. Okay, we already see how to set up the base information for our project. What we can do then is to use the cartographic systems. Just to give you an overview, again, project settings, cartographic system, and here we can set directly the cartographic system or use a load predefined cartographic system. We have the same option also from survey menu. In that case, we can click on survey to open another menu dedicated to the survey settings. In that case, we can use the survey properties. So this is the name of the current project. We can change also the label, so to use a unique color for all the entities of this project. Or we can save, or we can directly use there some filters in order to visualize or not some information directly from the graphic view. We have also another possibility to select and display the filters from survey setting, or otherwise from project manager filters. We will see together then that all the information that we can import and we can create directly in the software are directly saved here in the project manager. And here we have also another option for the labels, so we can change the visualization with a name, elevation, code, or description. So we can also use some other labels to visualize the data. Again, here we can directly use some symbols and labels according to this survey, to the coordinate survey. And again, like we have in the home project menu, we have the cartographic system. So in that case, if we import, once we import a project from XPAD survey field software, we can directly import also the coordinate system. So in that case, during the field survey, we used a local system according to the single point, so measured with a single point. What we can do here, for example, we can recalculate also other project and the current project, of course, using no system, local points, local system calibration, so we can assign directly absolute coordinate to the local system, or we can use the cartographic system. So we receive a warning. So in that case, we want to define a cartographic system. What we can do now, we have the same submenu that we can also use from a home project. And here we can load the cartographic system. So we already have some predefined cartographic system. We can directly select it from the list. So in that case, our project was based in Italy, and we can select, for example, system TM33. Here we have all the information, so we can also change the projection according to the list that we already have here. In case we need some a particular cartographic system, also with projection, datum, and ellipsoids, we can of course create it and save as default for the XPAD Office Fusion. So in case we need, we can also apply some other features. And of course, the parameters are already registered by default using a coordinate already known, a predefined cartographic system. So now we can also click on OK or save as a load predefined or save as a predefined. And what we can do now is to select the vertical system. So in case we already use a geoid from the field software, we can directly find it there, all the information. And what we need is only to copy and paste the geoid from the field software folder to the XPAD Office Fusion folder. So directly click on here, we are redirected to the XPAD Office Fusion geoids folder. So we need only to copy here our geoid file from the field software, and then we will have it directly on our system list. And for example, we can select Italy 2008. And of course, export. We have some other information to export, import also the coordinate system directly from the field folder, assign or directly create the report. Here we are in the report manager. We can select the coordinate system in order to visualize the report also for the coordinate system. And as you can see there, we have also the label that we already imported in the home project headers menu. So all the information are already saved here. What we can do is also to store the report. We can directly close it. We will see together also some other settings that we can use for the report manager. And then, okay, we already set everything for the coordinate system, vertical system. We can select OK, and then the software asks us what we can do for all the data that we already used, that we already selected. No, to don't calculate any points, calculate only the points with a valid GNSS position, calculate all the points, or cancel we can recalculate all the points, and then zoom extension to correctly visualize the data. We need also to calculate the survey in order to have all the information here. So we already seen how to visualize the data from the graphic view. What we can do more here is, for example, to select survey, and here we have other type of visualization. So we can change the working modes of the observation mode and visualize the data directly with point and elevation, or directly point name or point elevation. So that's depends on the settings that we already seen from the survey. So here we can also change name, elevation, code, and description in order to also assign other labels and visualize also other information on the software. So what we can do now from the survey menu is to check the raw data that we already stored during the survey. So how we can do it? We have two different methods. From points, we can visualize the topographic point list. So we can also move up the table in order to better visualize the information. And as you can see there, we have also the type of registration, type of topographic point. Point measured with GPS, point measured in offset method, using an offset method, TPS station, and we can move down, point measured with prism, point measured with a reflectorless ADM. And we have all the information for all the points. And for example, in case we created manually some points, we can also visualize the small finger. That's is also to understand that are points created manually. Of course, we can enter also some description. But what we can do more is also to click on this bar, select customize columns, and then directly import, drag also other information. So in that case, we can visualize for each topographic point also the latitude, longitude, and height, just because the survey was already calculated, was already calibrated during the survey. What we can do more from the points table is to select one of the points. Just for example, we can visualize the point 203, double click here in this cell in order to open another menu. So in that case, what we can do is to visualize point name, point type. We can also modify the point type directly selecting here. So GNS point, base point, static point, stakeout points. So we can really manage also the topographic point and assign a single point type manually by selecting from the list. And here we have also the information about the system. So grid scale, absolute coordinates. And we can also select the code directly here once we import a code list here from the project manager, or we can directly enter manually a code here in the relative cell and visualize directly together here. So we can do it manually from the topographic points table, or we can directly assign it here once we import a survey code list. Symbol and label for the current point, and then what we can do now, photo and messages. So in that case, if we already use the field software, so XPAD Ultimate survey or build software, we can also visualize photos and messages taken during the survey. So in case we use this option from the field software, we can also visualize the point directly here. Otherwise, we have another functionality that allows you to import external photos, also taken from the smartphone, also from different camera, and assign directly to the probably some reference point. Just use, in that case, we need to use the photo manager, and from photo manager we can import all the photos, also visualize it from the list, and here we have the option to assign it from date and time for GNSS position, or manually directly select the point and the photos. So, and then we will have all the images, all the photos imported, linked to the relative point, to the corresponding point. And this is the icon that allows you to understand that the point is already linked a photos. Another possibility to check the information stored during the survey, and in particular using the XPAD survey data, so the data that we already imported, is to move to the survey menu, measurement points. So in that case, we can visualize different information. So from survey, from the name of the survey, we can directly click here to visualize the field table. So here we can directly check all the information from the survey data. So date and time, hour, model of the hardware used, so in that case Zenith 25, serial number of the instrument, type of connection, RTK connection, using the radio connection with the radio channel 1. And this is the base information. So name of the base, latitude, longitude, and height. And here we can visualize all the information about the field book. So we don't miss any kind of information. We can directly check all the information stored during the survey. What we can do more with this information, of course, we can click here or select column cell by cell. If we click here, right click on one of the selected cell and export PDFs, XLS or CSV format. So in that case, okay, we can also rename it. Yes, we can replace it. And all the information that we can visualize from the measurement table already saved in PDF formats. So we can directly print this field book. What we can do more from the measurement table is to select one of the, in that case, one of the two hardware used, so one of the two survey, GNSS or TPS, in order to visualize also the raw data from the GNSS measurement. Again, here, right click on this bar, customize column, and directly drag all the information. The tilt, we can also visualize also the tilt. And here we have all the information stored from the base, linked to the base 6977. So what we can do more from this submenu is to check the raw data measured during the survey. So we don't miss any kind of information. Just to give an example, like we did for the topographic point list, double click here on one of these cells to open the corresponding point information. Base name, coordinate of the base, base height, coordinate and for the current point, then of course coordinate description like we already seen for the topographic point list. And here we have the quality of the point. This is really important information because we can check all the raw data. So for example, the solution was fixed, the accuracy of the measurement was 1 centimeter, 1.6 centimeter, 4.6 centimeter in elevation and in horizontal, epochs, tilt, because in that case the Zenith 25 is not equipped with with a tilt solution, and also the DOP values registered during the survey. In case we use also different constellation, we can also check the other constellation used during the survey. So this allows you to understand all the possible error that we did during the survey, and of course to check the better info, at best for all the raw information from the current survey. And of course we can do also the same here from the TPS measurement. Related to the single TPS station, we can check the raw measurement for TPS. As we already seen there, we have different type icon. That means that we are using the different types. So in that case, circular prism. We can double click here to open also the raw information. Yes, of course, it's a round prism, it's a circular prism. And we can skip to all the other measurement in order to check the single measurement. Of course, we can also change the horizontal, vertical, and slope distance, and then the software asks you to recalculate all this information. So just to give an idea, we can, for example, select, okay, we entered the wrong rover height during the survey. How we can do it? So instead of having 2.2 meters, it was 1.8 meters or 2 meters. We can modify cell by cell, or we can enter directly, we can select the entire column, edit cell, and here we can replace with a value, or add or use a multiple or divide. So in that case, of course, we need to recalculate the entire survey. How we can do it? From survey menu, we have the calculation option. We can close the measurement point list, and here we have the survey calculation. So current survey, use GNSS measurement. Of course, we can also check in here the coordinate system. TPS measurement, we can click there on the settings in order to also to check the calculation value, TPS calculation, starting station, so we can directly set here, for example, the starting station, and select also the azimuth orientation. Traverse adjustment, in case we already use a traverse during the survey, or otherwise we can directly use survey menu traverse option to create directly the traverse directly here from the current project, and of course using the created traverse also for the calculation, for the adjustment. To give an example, traverse adjustment, network adjustment only the station, or all points. And of course, we can also recalculate the offset point or transform the TPS value or the GNSS value according to some reference point. Okay, backside and all the information, cartographic system, elevation, and all information from the GNSS and from the TPS calculation. So as you can see there, of course, we have also the measurement icons, measurement line that you can visualize all directly here. What we can do to hide this kind of information or to better visualize this kind of information, from the measurement table again, we can select TPS, and then we can recolorize station by station. So in that case, we will have different colorization according to each station, or we can select colors by code. So in that case, we can move down the table, and as you can see there, all the measurements are visualized using different colorization. What we can do more is to zoom in inside the graphic view and maybe check the corresponding point, or directly from points table, select one point, use this icon, locate points. So now the visualization will be recentered to the current point. And we can do the same also for other points. So let me change the visualization to point name, otherwise we cannot visualize it. Of course, also from the topography point, we can select row by row or select the entire rows, right-click on one of the selected cells and export the information. So all the information, all the columns that we already had and customized are visualizable from the PDF report, from the PDF exportation. But we can do, close all tabs, we can do also another, we have also another possibility from the file reports. So what we can do now is to create, for example, topography point reports, reference point, create the report only for measurement, TPS measurement, GNS measurement, also measurement distance and distance. Just to give an example, GNSS measurement. And now the software automatically will open the report manager, and from the report manager we can choose different kind of template. So XPath, measurement, and GNSS icons are already imported by default because we already set to use this label, this header, and of course we can change the different information that we can visualize. Of course, we can also customize this kind of information. Just to give an example, in that case, I created another custom report using the edit icon. We can directly open the report manager customization. And here we can do everything we want. We can also import some other field list, some other information from the field list, change the graphical information, also copy and paste some headers directly here. And so we have the possibility also to customize our report and of course to save it in our template list. Measurement. What we can do now is, of course, I just want to save the project. So in that case, we have two different options. We can save this project as normal project, or we can save as a template all the information that we already used for the customization. So for example, model, new template, and save this project. So save from the file, save, or directly save here. And this is the automatic path for this project. Now, in the project manager, we can also visualize the report already created, or in case we export something from the software, also the exportation here. And of course, if we want to open a new project from template, we have also model new template created together, that we already created together. Okay, some other information, of course, that you can visualize here from the project manager, survey, sub-survey, drawing information, external document that we already imported in this current project, flight session and ground session dedicated to the image processing, so to the photogrammetry, raster maps. So in that case, we can also import raster maps, or also using the auto vectorization in order to create also the vectorization for this project. And of course, pre-action plane, clipping paints, that are tools used to create some reports from the current survey. From Home menu, we have also some other tools that we can use to check the data, not only from survey topography measurement table or survey measurement table. We can use, for example, the information directly here. So annotation to directly save annotation, distance to check the distance between points, area also in 3D to check the area information, right click, close. And of course, we can use store annotation in order to store this area information and maybe using it for the print option. Okay, what we can do more in order to better visualize and check the data is to use view second viewport, for example, that are a dedicated graphic view, a second dedicated graphic view that allows you also to directly use another type of visualization from the same project. And in case you use data, point clouds data, from one side we will see only the topographic point and drawing, and on the other side we can directly check the point clouds data. That allows you to better understand also where we are drawing or where we are selecting the points or where the points are located. So in that case, it's a different visualization that we can use using the second viewport. So in that case, we already calculated the survey. We can use web map visualization in order to overlap this project on the online map or to a server map. So like we have also in our field software, we can use different online map. Here we have just a list that we can check, and is the same list that we already have on our field software. Otherwise, we can directly connect another server map. Just to give an overview, edit functionality, add new server map. We need only to enter the name of the map, use a URL link, and in case we need an authentication, we can directly enter username and password. And then we can overlap the survey information according to the server map. We have another possibility here from the web map visualization. We can use the Alt button for the keyboard and select an area, and then we can directly click here to create raster using also different level and surface 3D. Of course, the accuracy is the accuracy of in that case of the online map, but in case we need to export and check the data also from the web map, we can overlap this kind of information. And of course, raster and surfaces are directly stored in the project manager. So we can directly switch on and switch off the information that we don't need to visualize. Of course, using a cartographic system, the point will be automatically overlapped here. Okay, we can move back to 3D visualization. And of course, what we can do more is to use all the drawing functionality. Like you give an example, polylines, and then we can set the different snap that we can use there. Snap, grid in case we need to also visualize the grid for the graphic view, object snap, also using the surface, and snap dedicated to the point clouds. Now we can directly enter new name, and in case we need, we can also lock one of the coordinates, just for example the Z, in order to project all the points to 0. With a right click, we can also use some other settings for the drawing, but we will see all these settings in the next webinar dedicated to also to CAD data, also to different visualization. And as you can see there, using the snap functionality on the surfaces, the points are directly projected to the surface. We will see together also the other information from the drawing during the next webinar, and some other features also dedicated to the surface calculation that we have here from the software, also to create a dedicated add zone, a dedicated add zone in order to limit the volume calculation. And of course, other information that we can also use for the section. So the software is a really complete software that allows you to manage data coming from different hardware, but also to manage directly the survey, all the data here, and overlap all the information inside the same software, inside the same graphic view. So from import, we can import data from different hardware, and then of course we can manage the data from survey for the GPS or GNSS or TPS data, image for the image processing, so for the photogrammetry, X section to create the section for all type of data that we already imported, and cloud also to manage other data from the dedicated to the point clouds. Output menu is a dedicated menu that we can use for the plotting, for the automatic connection with the AutoCAD software, so to copy and paste the data from Fusion to AutoCAD, from AutoCAD to Fusion. And then, of course, object report that allows you to create an automatic report for all the objects that we already imported, that we already created for the software. But we will see together all the other functionality during the next webinar. So this webinar is just to give you an overview about the main functionality, so the basic functionality also, and some hidden functionality that we are using, especially from the checking the data from topography points, from measurement points. I just want to come back on the presentation to review also all the other information that we already seen here. So import the data, where it's in how to import the data, project management to manage also the settings for the project, using the particular drawing scale, using unit and position also to enter different information, using coordinate system. Also in that case we can change the projection, cartography system, ground to grid scale, headers like we already did, visualization and change the working mode to visualize also different information, point name, elevation, different labels that we already set, points table to check also the data, and measurement tables to check the raw measurement coming from the field software. So, second view, photo manager to also different photos, align photos directly to the topographic point. Calculation in order to check also the calculation, all the options that we have for using GNSS and TPS measurement. Web map, as you already said, pressing Shift and selecting area or Alt and selecting area, we can create the raster and the surface that we can overlap to the information, to the data that we ordered in the software. Of course, all the other drawing functionality that we will see together in the next webinar. Some cogwheel we can use directly clicking here on the points arrow, and how it works for measurement points. So just to remind you, from our website, we can also you can also try this use the 30 days valid license. So you can directly register to our website and you will receive a 30 days evaluation license, so with this subscription. And from the email, you can directly click here to download the software, and that you will receive from the marketing email. Again, just to resume also what we already did to help the user to use the software. Of course, we already created 34 PDF tutorials, and from our website, we have also the possibility to directly check and visualize the interactive video tutorials. So the two video tutorials that allows you also to directly, for example, using particular topics, those video tutorials are interactive, so you can also click and modify and visualize only the data that you want to visualize. Sorry, it was okay. And we have a particular list. We have a dedicated list, so you can directly choose one of the information here, so one of the topics here, in order to visualize also how to create, how to manage the data directly from the software. Okay, you need only to refresh the page. Okay, so thanks for the moment for the attention. In case you need some more data, so you need some more to give us some comments and some suggestions, you can of course write us to our Academy email, or directly you can directly write that to me directly here in chat, so I will reply directly in real time. So we have some questions. Okay. Okay, we have some questions here, so we can directly visualize together. How we can check the survey calculation and the report. So from the survey menu, calculation submenu, calculate to visualize the survey calculation option, and report in order to check in real time this type of calculation. For the moment, we cannot print it, the survey calculation, but we already work on it to create directly another reports. Okay, we have also another question here. Custom, okay, it's possible to select to see the use cartographic system. Okay, we can directly set the cartographic system from survey menu, survey option, cartographic system, or like we did before, home project cartographic system. And here what we can do is to select edit, load the cartographic system, and choose it from our list. Depending on the region. And once selected the system, of course, we can modify also the system. And here we have also the report for the coordinate system, like we already seen before. In case we use the XPAD survey data, we can also use the same coordinate system selected during the field survey. Okay, yes, we have also some other question regarding the customization of the report manager. We will see this particular topics during the next webinar, but yes, we can also fully customize also the report from the report manager. in case you need also some other data, we can also provide you some data. But we will see also this advanced functionality during the next webinar. We have another question from the minimum of the software to install the software. Basically, the software, we can run the software in a 64 bits PC bit laptop. It's not possible to run the software on a parallel for the Mac for iOS system. Basically, the software can work also with a previous version of Windows. The minimum requirement, we don't have a minimum requirement from this kind of calculation. Of course, depending on the use of the software, because of course we can manage also the point clouds data and the photogrammetry data, and so in that case, of course, it will be better to have a better CPU or better graphic board. But it depends, of course, on the use that we need to for the software. For the really basic requirement is only to use on a Windows laptop and for a 64-bit laptop. Okay, we have also other question. Edit functionality. Yes, we will bring the next webinar also how to use the editing functionality, but of course we can also use the editing functionality for all the entities that you can visualize from the graphic view board. So this is, from my side, is really powerful, and of course it's better to test it and to check all the potential of the software, the different functionality of the software, and then of course the support will be available in case you need something. And from just to request, you can also request to your regional dealer some data that you can use for testing the software. We already prepared the PDF with also some data for the topographic the feature, but also for the point clouds feature. The next webinar, okay, the next webinar we can directly check it from our website. In that case, we will have one webinar for week, but the next webinar will be about okay, this is our webinar. The next webinar, okay, this is webinar dedicated also to field software. On 23 June, we have another webinar dedicated to the XPAD Ultimate software, our field software. And of course, in 2 weeks, we will have another webinar dedicated to Fusion. So 3rd June, we will have also another webinar, how to manage topographic data with XPAD Fusion. So in that case, we will see together in deep all the different possibilities that we have for Fusion, also to use some advanced functionality to topographic data, but also to all the other functionality to the topo module, so the topo that allows you to manage all the survey data, except in the clouds data and the image processing data. We will see together also how to import also, for example, EFC. So in case you need a particular demo, we can also combine and organize a demo also through our regional dealer. Of course, if you have some other question, free to write us, to our Academy email. We are, of course, at disposal in order to provide you the best support depending on your request. Okay, at the moment, we don't have other questions. So thanks again to everybody, and see you on the next webinar. So just to remind, the next webinar will be about XPAD Ultimate, and then we will also another webinar for XPAD Office Fusion. So every week we will have a dedicated webinar for the end user of the software. You will receive tomorrow the video of this presentation, but of course just write to us in case you need some other data, in case you need you have some other question. Thanks again to everybody, and a good day and evening.